How to create a budget on Google Sheets. Today I'm creating a budget on Google Sheets. Make sure to watch until the end so you don't make any mistakes. Okay, so the very first step is to open up Google Sheets, and first you're going to click on blank spreadsheet. I'm using Google Sheets since it's free and it's a powerful tool that you can access from your phone or computer, which I find that it makes it super easy to update and track my finances in real time. But if you prefer Excel, for example, you can also create a similar table in that tool as well. Let's now dive right in and set up a simple, efficient budget template. So I'm going to be starting with the income section. At the top of your sheet, so in cell A1, I'm going to type in income. And in cell A2, I'm going to be saying paycheck 1. And in cell A3, I'm just going to enter paycheck 2. These will be placeholders for your actual income sources. So to make it look a tiny bit nicer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight cells A1 and B1. Click on merge cells. So it will be over here. You're going to click on that. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to center align the text over here. You can also add, for example, a background color. I like using yellow for my income, so to do that, you're going to see this kind of icon over here, fill color. You're going to click on that, and I'm going to select this yellow over here. You can customize this further. For example, I always like to make this bold. You can make it italic. You can do a bunch of things, change the color. You can even add emojis if you want. So after you're done with like formatting your I call this heading. What you can do is you can go to insert over here, click on that. You'll see this emoji section over here. When you click on that, you'll have access to a bunch of different emojis. So for example, I'm going to be searching for dollars. I like this one over here, so I'm going to click on that and it will add this kind of dollar icon over here. Okay, next we need a total for our income. So I'm going to skip this line over here, so A4, and I'm going to write total on A5. I'm going to calculate the sum eventually, but before we do that, let me write down some numbers over here so you can see how it works in real time. So let's say that for paycheck 1, I've made 2,500, and for paycheck 2, let's say that I did 3,000. As you can see, these are just like numbers. They're not like in dollars or any type of currency, so we need to add some currency to this. I'm going to select these two, and on the top bar, you're going to see this format option. Click on that. Here you will see numbers. You're going to see currency and currency rounded. So I always like to go with currency because I like to see the actual number to the penny, but you can also go with currency rounded. So in my case, I'm going with currency, and as you can see, now they're in dollars. So this is what we need. So now that we have the relevant formatting, we're going to be calculating the sum over here. So we're going to click on B5 equals sum. We're going to do an open parentheses, and we're going to select B2 and B3, just like that. And when you click on enter, it will give us a sum. You don't even have to close the parentheses. So now whenever you enter your income amounts in cell B2 and B3, this will automatically update. So to give you an example, let's say this was 2,000 and not 3,000, it will automatically update in the total section over here. So now let me show you how you can add borders to this. So you're going to select all the elements from paycheck to the heading to total, like that. Again, on the top bar, you'll see this icon over here for borders. You're going to click on that. And here you'll have multiple options from all borders to inner borders to horizontal borders. So you can really experiment with it, see what you like the best, what makes sense to you, and then you'll be good to go. Now you know the basics. So let's say that you also have some sort of a side hustle or like an extra income, and you want to separate them out from the main income. First, what I'm going to do is I am going to remove the borders, and to do that, I am again selecting all the elements over here. I'm gonna go to borders, and here you'll see this section for clear borders. I'm gonna be clicking on that. So I'm gonna rename this to work income total. So one tip is, for example, as you can see, this is being covered, like total is not being seen. How you can kind of enlarge your cell is when you go over A and kind of hover your mouse over it, you will see these arrows. Kind of click on it and pull it to the right. This will enlarge your cell and you'll be able to see the full thing like that. So now I'm gonna skip 2 lines. This depends on you, but I personally like a bit of space between tables and text. So I'm skipping A6 and A7. I'm going to A8. And in this cell, let's say that you have a side hustle, you work with clients. So here I'm gonna say client 1. I'm gonna call this client 2. And here I'm gonna say client 3. Here, let me write some numbers. Let's say that I made 150 from client 1, 50 from client 2, and 120 from client 3. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna leave 1 line over here because I like to have a bit of spacing. I'm going to A12, and here I'm gonna call this side hustle income total. As you can see, the total is also overlapping with this cell over here, so I am kind of moving it this way so it fits perfectly like that. Now I'll repeat the same process. I'm gonna select these number over here. I'm gonna go to format, first go to number, and then I'm gonna select currency, so it is set on dollars. And then what I'm gonna do is, if you remember, I'm gonna take the sum of it. So to do that, I'm gonna be clicking on B12 over here. I am typing equals sum, open parentheses, and here I'm gonna select these ones over here. So B8, B9, and B10, and I'm gonna hit enter. So there we have it. We have the total now. For your other incomes, if you have any, what you can do is you can again skip 2 lines, come to A15. I'll use the example of tips. For example, let's say that you have tips from project 1. I'm gonna call this tip project 1. Let's also add another one. Let's say tip from project 2. I'm gonna say the client tipped me 15, 10 for the second project. I'm skipping 1 line again. I'm going to A18, and what I'm gonna say is other income total. So repeating the same process, I'm coming to B18, repeating the same process. So I'll do the same thing for the currency, equals sum, open parentheses, and I'm gonna select B15 and 16, hit on enter, and there we have it. So let's say that for any of these things you want to add like an additional income. For example, let's say that I have another tip for another project. I'm gonna come over here to the cell, gonna right click on it, and I'm just gonna say insert 1 row above. What it will do is it will give me 1 row, and now I can name it $20. And what I'll do now, I'm gonna select all 3 of them over here, and it will give me the sum of all 3. So at any point, if you want to add additional lines, you're gonna click on the cell, right click, and click on insert 1 row above. Just like that. So now that we separated our income on 3 different tiers, what we're gonna do is first we're gonna say an overall income total. So it will give us the total of our side hustle, other income, and our work income. So I am skipping 2 lines over here, and I'm gonna say overall income total, repeating the same process, equals sum, open parentheses, and it's like this one, and this one. Click on enter, you have your total income over here. So now you can customize this further. For example, I will add a color, make it bold like that. I am gonna add borders to this. So I'm going to borders. I am gonna add an outer border, repeating the same process for the others. You can of course also add borders to all lines like that. So it really depends on how you want to customize this. And there you have it. This is basically how you can separate different type of incomes out. So now let's move on to setting up the budget and expenses section. So I'm going to be skipping 2 columns. So the columns over here and here. So on E, I'm going to start with typing budget. So underneath, I'm going to be typing in expense, budget, actual, and difference. So now let's format this nicely. I'm starting with my heading. So I'm going to select all these cells over here. I am going to click on merge cells, center align it. I will repeat the same process of changing the color. I think this time I'm going to go with a blue one. I will actually make everything bold here. So I'm selecting everything and then I'm making them bold just like that. So underneath expense, what we're going to do is we're going to type in a couple of main monthly expenses. So I'll start with the most basic ones, rent. What else could it be? Utilities, groceries, food out, shopping, and the list honestly goes on and on, but I'm just giving a couple of examples. You can just keep going on with the list like that. So for the budget section, this will be the number you are hoping to spend this month. So I'm going to be filling in like random numbers. So I filled this section in with numbers. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to select all of these numbers as well as these parts over here and kind of pull it down further as well, just in case we add more items. And then we are going to go to format, number, and currency. I also recommend you do this. So this will allow you to do this only at the beginning and you don't have to do it over and over again. So now that I changed these parts to currency, I'm going to add the total number over here. So I am going to leave out a couple of lines. Probably like I'll start off at 15. This is just in case I'll need to add more expenses. So I'm coming to 15 here. I'm going to say total. And over here, I am going with the same formula, equals sum, open parentheses, and here I'm going to select the entire column. You can just leave it like that, but I'm going to select all of these here just in case I add more expenses. Then I'm clicking on enter. One super cool hack you can do is to click on the box over here with the formula, and you'll see this plus icon over here. When you pull it to the right, the formula will be copied over here. Now it's 0, but once you fill this in with numbers, it will add up the sum automatically. So you can also do this for the difference parts as well. So for the difference section, meaning the difference between what you budgeted and what you actually spent, I'm coming here, I'm saying equals, you're going to select the budget minus the actual. And then you're going to click on enter. So Google Sheets sometimes comes up with quite smart suggestions of autofill. So in my case, this is pretty correct right now, but I'm going to ignore it just to show you how you can do this manually. So again, you're going to click on this box and you'll see this plus icon. You just have to pull it down like that and it will be automatically filled in for you. Okay, now I'm going to be adding my borders and make this some sort of a table. So to do that, I am basically selecting all the elements within this and I am going to borders as usual. Here you have a lot of different options, but I think what I'm going to do is I am not going to select a total section over here. I will do something extra for that. And over here, I am just going to select these options, go to borders, and I'm going to select outer borders like that. So here I'm going to select this column. I am going to borders. I'm going to add a right border to it like that. And I'll continue to do the same thing for the rest of my columns. I am going to select this line over here. And I am going to go to borders again And I'm gonna select bottom border and it will add this little line over here. And I'm quite happy with how it looks right now. The only thing is I, again, want to have a bit of spacing over here. So I'm gonna select this line. I'm gonna right click on it and I'm gonna say insert one row above. And this will basically just give me more space. I'll do this one more time so I have even more space. And I'm gonna add just the outer border like that. So I made some further adjustments just because I felt like this looked better. So I made some further adjustments and now I'm quite happy with how this looks like. Okay, to make this visually clear and interesting when you're over or under budget, we can use something called conditional formatting. So first of all, we're going to come to the difference section over here and we're going to highlight the cells in this column like that. And then we're going to go to format over here. Then we're going to go to conditional formatting right there. Here, basically, we're going to be setting a specific rule. So for format rule, we're going to select greater than. Value or formula will be 0. So if it's greater than 0, it's going to be highlighted in this color, so green. You can also come here and change that, but I'm going to keep it in green. Then you're going to click on add another rule. And as you can see, this is still applying to the selected column over here, so it's great. And for this rule over here, we're going to say if it's less than 0. So we're going to come here, we're going to find a less than. It's over there and it's 0, so it's gonna stay as that. And we're gonna make this red, so I am trying to find a red color that I like. Okay, I decided on this one, and once you're done with it, you're gonna click on done. And now you have your conditional format rules ready. You're gonna close that. So let me now show you how it works. Let's say that for rent, we stayed on budget. This should be neutral without any highlights. So yes, there is no difference because we stayed on the budget. Utilities, we say 100, but let's say that we've spent 110. So normally this should be going red. So let's see exactly. We have $10 of difference. So we were $10 over the budget. Let's say that for groceries, we spend only 185 this month. Normally this should go green. Let's see exactly. We spend $15 less than we anticipated. That's the overall idea. And there you have it. That's how you can create a budget in Google Sheets. Don't forget to rename your sheet so you can easily find it.